Welcome to PWS United, a podcast for the Prader-Willi syndrome community, brought to you by PWSA USA. This podcast gives the latest news in research, advocacy, and family support by bringing together staff, volunteers, PWS treatment specialists, biotech and pharmaceutical representatives, caregivers, family members, and individuals with PWS. Our goal is to share education, awareness, and resources with those living with PWS and their supporters. Join us in our mission to enhance the quality of life and empower those affected by Prader-Willi syndrome. Hi, everyone. It's Carrie here, and welcome to today's episode of PWS United. I'm very excited to be joined by our wonderful CEO, Stacey Ward, today. Stacey is filling in for Annie, who is taking some well-deserved time off and is on vacation with her family. So we're wishing Annie well, and we're happy to welcome Stacey to the podcast today.
Thanks for having me. Selfishly, I love that Annie's on vacation. I mean, it's great. Everybody needs a vacation, but it lets me get to do this with you, which is so much fun. So thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. All right. Well, this Pulse episode is highlighting our recent Pulse that went out on August 1st. It's volume 128. And we start here by celebrating and highlighting August as National Make a Will Month. So this milestone year, as we all know, it's PWSA USA's 50th anniversary, offers a special opportunity to think about the legacy you want to leave for the PWS community. For caregivers and individuals with Prader-Willi syndrome, planning ahead is especially important. Our loved ones will need support, supervision, and security throughout their lives, and having a thoughtful plan in place provides peace of mind. One deeply meaningful way to make a lasting impact is through planned giving. A bequest through your will or trust allows you to support PWSA in the future without affecting your assets during your lifetime. These gifts will help sustain the vital programs, the services, and the advocacy work that families rely on today and tomorrow. And as we look back on 5 decades of progress and ahead to a hopeful future, we invite you to consider joining the many families who have chosen to support PWSA USA through legacy giving. And we actually have a great quote from PWSA board member John Lenz, who interviewed with us on this subject. John is also dad to Hunter, who is living with PWS, and he hosts the annual Hunter Lenz Golf Tournament in Massachusetts. Shout out to that. I'm going to have a link in the show notes for John's upcoming event this year as well. But let's take a listen to what John has to say about the importance of planned giving.
You know, in the early years of adjusting with a child with Prader-Willi, there was a ton of unknowns and questions to be answered on why us, and how do we move forward, and would there ever be a cure found, and then also how do we build our lives with our son Hunter, knowing that we didn't all have all the answers, and knowing that we could ask questions or ask advice, we could do research through the organization, really gave us a comfort level, that we weren't alone. And there were others going through the same what if questions and how questions. It just made it a lot easier to cope. I don't think we would have been in the same situation without, the organization being there by our side. I'm a little bit fortunate where I can do things to help others. And I look at it as every year that, I've been in a position of my adult life, I always make sure that I give back to many organizations, but most importantly, Prader-Willi. And I want to make sure I continue to do that, in my afterlife, in our family's afterlife. So, we're making a conscious decision on it, and it's an important one that we will always make sure that we're giving, at a level that we can afford. And we're looking forward to making sure that we do the right things long term to, remember Hunter and his life and help others, for many years to come. And regardless of any circumstances that may happen over time, I know there's always a dollar value that I could afford and value that, is important to not only me, but I know would be important to Prader-Willi Association. And so I don't look at it as, I have to make a world-changing event personally. I don't have to give my entire estate. It's not what this is. This is about a level of income I know that I can always count on that will go in perpetuity over time to Prader-Willi, that will always have my name being a donor and a beneficiary to helping others that are going to need it 10 years from now, 50 years from now, 100 years from now. Um, I will be in a position where I can help them and have my legacy and my name move on. And that's really what it's about is the Hunter Lens legacy. For many other generations, I want to make sure are taken care of and always will have a voice where they can call into, even when I'm not, being able to be in the same position where I can host and run a golf tournament every year. I truly do want to help others long after, my time on earth is done.
Thank you, John. And you can learn about planned giving and all the different ways that you can make a difference by visiting the Make a Will Month link in our show notes. And moving on now to our PWSA Memory of the Week. It was submitted to us actually by the incredible Lisa Graziano, who many in our community know. She is a mom, supporter, volunteer, all the things. So we always love getting things from Lisa, especially with her knowledge and expertise of everything PWSA from decades before until today. So Lisa had this to say. She said, "My husband and I attended our first PWSA conference back in 1999 when it was held in conjunction with the Prader-Willi California Foundation, organized by Frank Moss of PWCF and Janalee Heineman of PWSA. Our son was just 6 months old at the time. Attending this conference truly marked the beginning of our PWS journey." That's so sweet, Stacy.
It really is. I attended my first PWSA conference in 2005 when it was held in conjunction with the New York chapter. And I'm telling you, like Lisa, it changed my life.
Mm-hmm.
It was amazing.
Yep, you haven't looked back ever since.
That, and it's the case for so many families in our community. Conference, it gives you your tribe.
Mm-hmm.
So you meet all of these amazing people and you learn so much, but you find your people.
Yeah, that is really a beautiful thing about conference. And I've been to 2 in person now, and I've seen the new families that come in, like Lisa was in 1999, and they really embrace, I think, their diagnosis, their child, the community in such a special, beautiful way. And I love that we're able to hold conferences to give that to people. So, yeah.
It really is amazing. I think for a lot of families, it's the first time that they truly don't feel alone.
Mm-hmm.
Our virtual world has certainly changed that for so many of our families.
Mm-hmm.
But once you get to be in person and hug the people that you've been texting or, messaging through all of the social media platforms for months or years, it just changes that sense of belonging.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody has my back and somebody knows what this feels like.
Yes.
And I don't have to do it alone.
Yes. And that is so, so true. And I'm so glad that's a takeaway for people. So important. So Lisa shared a little bit more than just that quote. She gave us a whole blog article, and we'll have that linked in the show note for everyone to go and read through and enjoy. And similarly, along the lines of conference still, I think we're going to continue to talk about conference.
We're all still riding the conference high.
Yes. Absolutely. But our Spotlight on Hope for the week is actually a volunteer spotlight. And I really wanted to spotlight an amazing individual who has volunteered so much of her time, her creativity, just her wealth of talent. She's just amazing. And that is Melissa Rivas, or Melissa Pito. She goes, I think, by both, but whichever you know her as, Melissa. And if you know Melissa, you already know how much heart and creativity and dedication she brings to everything that she does. From designing unforgettable photo op displays at our conferences to quietly lifting up others behind the scenes, Melissa's impact on PWSA has been nothing short of incredible. It is felt throughout our entire community, and I feel very fortunate and proud to shine a spotlight on her through this series. Should take
I
a lot of
love
credit.
that you recognized Melissa. She has done so much for us
Mm-hmm.
since her daughter was born. Like she has
Mm-hmm.
jumped in and really the things that she does, many people have no idea how
Mm-hmm.
much support and creativity she is providing to us behind the scenes. And it's been incredible. For those of you who may not know, she's also the creator and founder of the PWS Hub on Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
which has all sorts of amazing resources and things that are daily life-changing hacks, tips and tricks for the community to utilize. She's brilliant. She's
Yeah.
brilliant. Thank you for highlighting her because she absolutely deserves it.
We go back and forth in email a ton, and she's always so sweet and gives me so much encouragement and inspiration. And yeah, it's her support is felt, on such a scale. So I just wanted to make sure people know that. And I did write a full article about this and highlighted other ways that she's contributed. And the PWS Hub link is in the article. So make sure that you go and read the article, not only to see all the great things she does, but also to find that Facebook link. It's super helpful, like Stacey said.
That's great. Well, let's move into events and fundraisers. So coming up, I am so excited for this one.
Mm-hmm.
On Saturday, October 11th, the Hampton family is hosting the second annual Dance Silly for Prader-Willi. So this is a lively celebration to support PWSA USA, and it honors Jada's journey with PWS and the invaluable support the Hampton family has received from PWSA USA. Get ready for a fun family dance party like no other. Set against the backdrop of Halloween, a season that poses unique challenges for children with PWS due to their dietary restrictions. This event aims to spotlight inclusivity and emphasize that holidays are about more than just treats. It's about creating joyous, memorable experiences and cherishing time together. If you'd like to learn more about this event, you can reach out to Michelle Hampton. Her email will be in the show notes, as well as the link to purchase tickets and attend. Now, Carrie, I know you attended last year. Do you want to give us a little behind the scenes, what people can expect at an event like this?
Yes, I would love to. It was so energetic and fun and just light and happiness that just spread throughout the whole venue. So Michelle
She's lovely.
I met her in person there, and gosh, she is just such a sweet, kind, amazing person. There was a ton of families there, with kids with PWS, and then those who were there to support Michelle and her family, which was great. An amazing DJ, so much fun dancing. There's a great auction. They just went all out. So I know it's going to be even bigger and better this year. I think Michelle talked on a podcast we put out, or an episode we put out in February, roughly, and talked all things, about her event and what she's excited for in the future. And she said that she's going to be bigger and better. So
Remember seeing the
love that.
Facebook Live that you did while you were there? And
Yeah.
it it was the energy was contagious. Like you said, it was all
Mhm.
energy. And I was a little jealous that I wasn't there, to be honest, because it looked like it was so much fun. I
Yeah.
would be remiss. I want to give a shout out to the sponsors for Dance Silly for Prader-Willi. Acadia, Jimmy and Diana Whetstone, and Amble are our lead sponsors for this event. And then the event of the year. So, as Carrie mentioned earlier, this is our milestone 50th anniversary as an organization, and we are holding our 50th anniversary celebration on Friday, September 26th at 6 p.m. at the Ritz-Carlton in St. Louis, Missouri. So please consider joining us for the Journey of Hope Gala. This milestone event will honor 5 decades of progress, advocacy, and community with a cocktail reception, a gourmet dinner, an honoree ceremony, a silent auction, and live entertainment by Griffin and Gargoyles. This is an incredible band. If people have not had the opportunity to hear them play, you can Google them. They're so much fun. It's a celebration of the people and the stories that have shaped the PWS journey and a night that you won't want to miss. So you can learn more about this event, ways to support it through the link that's going to be in the show notes. And a huge shout out to our Journey of Hope Gala sponsors. Soleno Therapeutics is our legacy sponsor. Our pioneer sponsors are Acadia and Five Brothers Produce. We could not pull this event off without their support. So thank you so much.
Yeah, I cannot wait to go to that, Stacey. I think it's going to be, like you said, just the event of the year, the decade, I don't know, the last 5 decades.
Right? I am so excited. One, for all the dancing and the fun that we're going to have,
Mhm.
but it really, I think, is going to be so meaningful to be able to truly recognize the people who have created this organization and helped sustain us through the last 50 years. The pioneers in our space, the physicians who were right there in the beginning, helping, Gene and Fosta really
Mhm.
create this organization and provide that expertise and credence to the families' journeys. It's going to be so, so special. And I hope that all of you join us.
Well said. All right, moving on to advocacy news now. We have a very exciting update. It's something that we've been working towards, Stacey, as an organization for a long time. So I am so excited that we get to say it out loud. So we are thrilled to share that Prader-Willi syndrome has been included in the Department of Defense's peer-reviewed medical research program, or the PRMRP, for those who had to learn that acronym at our last last 2 fly-ins, in the 2026 fiscal year defense appropriations bill. So this is just a major milestone, as I said, for the community. This inclusion, passed out of the Senate Appropriations Committee, is the result of tireless advocacy efforts that began with our very first DC fly-in back in 2022. And since then, our advocates have shown up, spoken out, and shared their stories with lawmakers to push for this recognition. So what is it? If signed into law, this designation will open new opportunities for federal research funding, scientific innovation, and much needed progress in the fight against PWS. So we are just so incredibly proud and grateful to every single advocate who helped make this happen. This is truly, and I know Stacey will agree with me, a testament to how much our voices are making a difference and can make a difference. So while this is a critical step forward, the bill does still need to pass the full Senate, and we'll be sharing next steps and how you can keep up the momentum in the near future. But in the meantime, we encourage you to read through the Department of Defense's appropriations bill draft, and we'll have that link in our show notes. And if you scroll to page 228 and read that paragraph, the first paragraph, paragraph 1, it's really long, but you will see Prader-Willi syndrome listed under PRMRP in there, which is awesome
This
to
is
see.
so amazing. So when
Yeah.
we got the call last week, I couldn't understand Dorothea. She was crying, and I thought something was
Mm.
wrong at first. And then I'm sobbing, and we're trying to talk. It was quite the mess.
Oh,
Um,
man.
but it was this moment of not only are our voices being heard, but this, if signed into law, opens the door to so much more for the PWS community. And it's incredible that PWSA is at the forefront of making something like this happen. And, I'm going to give a quick shout out to Dorothea for really having the vision and then the ability to get people to walk through fire.
Yeah.
Because she really has mobilized this community to make this happen.
Mhm.
And truly, it would not have happened without her and our advocates going to DC and meeting with their elected officials when they're in their district offices and really pushing and highlighted the unmet needs of Prader-Willi syndrome and why this is so important. I don't know if people realize how much money is allocated to something like this, but in fiscal year 25, there was $650 million allocated to, oh my gosh,
To
PRM.
PRMRP? Okay.
Yeah, I did look at the acronym again. Make sure I
It's a
had it right.
tricky one.
Right? But that's a significant amount of money that will change the course of the future for our loved ones with PWS. It's really, really amazing.
Yeah, that is incredible, incredibly special. So much energy and effort around this. Well-deserved win, for sure.
Yes. It was well worth having to learn the acronym.
Agreed. I think, and saying it because everybody had many meetings, especially on our fly-in, and they had to repeat it in every meeting
Yes.
multiple times. So you learned it really was ingrained in your brain at a
There's
certain
my
point.
in some of the chatter in our Facebook groups, I saw people talking specifically about what it was like to have to learn CDMRP,
Mhm.
PRMRP,
Mhm.
to be able to get it all out. And as I was reading, I was flashing back to people walking down the stairs at the first DC fly-in,
Mhm.
repeating it to themselves and practicing it.
Amazing. Well, now that's really paying off. So good work, everybody, for
Well worth it.
doing your due diligence there. Yeah. And our next section in advocacy is something we touched on in our last podcast episode about the Americans with Disabilities Act, but we wanted to reiterate it here and honestly as much as we can. But we have created a new informational sheet for families called What is Medicaid? And it offers a description overview of what Medicaid is, how Medicaid works, and the differences between the state and federal roles, mandatory and optional Medicaid benefits, how to find your state's Medicaid information, and a list of the alternative names for Medicaid by state, which is incredibly important to know.
So important. I think that that is one of those things that is misunderstood by so many people, that Medicaid is called something different in many states.
Yeah.
So really, really helpful to have this information sheet.
Yeah. And again, shout out to our advocacy team and to Annie for figuring out what they all are and putting this
Yes.
great document together for our families. So we encourage you to go read through it, understand, again, all of these great things plus what it's called in your state. And we'll have that linked in our show notes. And kind of as an add on to that, we are trying to collect as much testimony as possible from families on disability services and kind of Medicaid services. So currently, only 14 states recognize PWS as an intellectual slash developmental disability, or IDD, which limits access to crucial services and supports for individuals with PWS. And everybody's personal story with that can help change this. So we invite you to take part in this very important advocacy effort by sharing your experience with qualifying for Medicaid waiver programs and other state-funded IDD services. And we will have a link to a form in our show notes. And we encourage you to go click on that, read through it a bit in our prompts, and fill it out. And it honestly can be any kind of story around this. It doesn't have to be necessarily a bad experience. It could be something that went positively. We just want to collect as many as we can around this topic. So we appreciate everybody's participation in this.
All right, let's move into family support. August is Gastroparesis Awareness Month. And gastroparesis is slow emptying of the stomach. It's a condition that's very common in individuals with PWS. And it's important for caregivers to understand this condition and how to recognize if the individual that you love with PWS is experiencing symptoms. So there is a link in the post that will be in our show notes to an article that was written by Barb Dorn and Margaret Burns and Dr. Ann Scheinman. And this article covers the definitions of gastric motility and gastroparesis, how the conditions affect children and adults with PWS, preventing and managing gastroparesis, and a food guide for the management of gastroparesis. So please check this out. This is something that really can be very, very debilitating for our loved ones with PWS. And the more we can prevent it and manage it proactively, the better for their health and comfort, truly. The BOSS program. So our spots for the BOSS program being offered in September are full. I cannot believe how quickly
Wow.
it filled up, and we are now starting to accept applications for January. So really, really excited that we had such an incredible response to the September session. The applications that we're accepting for January, we have not determined the days or the times for those sessions yet. So as we get those applications in, I will most likely do a poll with those families to try to make a time that really works best for them. But it is going to be geared towards more of the times that are going to accommodate the West Coast families. So the sessions in September are starting at 4 p.m. And people are still in school on the West Coast. So it really made it impossible for people who lived in a different time zone to be able to participate. So January, we're making a concerted effort to make sure that we can capture all of those folks who really wanted to be involved. Now, the BOSS program was initially funded by FPWR, and it was created to provide a supportive, structured space for participants to build communication skills, build confidence, and connect with their peers in a fun and engaging way. This is a 10-week virtual program that's led by experienced facilitators who understand the unique needs and strengths of people with PWS. All of the sessions are conducted virtually. We meet 3 times a week. So this is a large commitment when you do sign up. So that it's 30 sessions. And it's intensive. It involves some homework. But it's really, the feedback we've received from people who participated in this program has been incredible. People are now reaching out saying, can we go through it again? We enjoyed it so much and feel like we have something new to learn this time, which is amazing.
Awesome.
So really, really excited. If you want to learn more or fill out an application, the link will be in the show notes for you to do that. Let's move on to the ever popular Ask Nurse Lynn. So this question is on leptin and hyperphagia. It's male, 36-year-old with deletion subtype. It was suggested to me by a doctor, not a PWS specialist, that those with PWS are deficient in the hormone leptin, and that replacing it could be an alternative way of helping with hyperphagia. Have you heard of leptin supplement as a treatment for hyperphagia? And if you want to see Nurse Lynn's answer, the link to the blog article will be in our show notes. Do you have a non-emergency medical question about Prader-Willi syndrome? Do you have a non-urgent medical question that keeps coming up, but you forget to ask every time you're with your doctor? Perhaps your question applies to numerous families who will benefit from hearing the answer.
We'll have a link to fill out our Ask Nurse Lynn form in the show notes so that you can ask your own question there. And as always, we just want to give Lynn a big old thank you. She is always on top of these, and we appreciate it so much.
And Lynn's brilliant.
She is. She's brilliant. We're so lucky to have her for that reason and just because she keeps us laughing and having so much fun all the time.
Very true.
All right. Well, I digress. So getting into research now, we have an exciting opportunity coming up, a free virtual webinar that will be held on Zoom with Harmony Biosciences so they can talk about some new details in their Tempo PWS study. So this free webinar will take place on Tuesday, August 19th at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Do you have additional information, Stacey, on kind of the topic and what they'll be talking about?
Yes. So I'm really very excited for them. So they have created an option for people to be able to participate in their phase 3 Tempo trial, all completely virtual. And for so many of our families, the barrier to participating in clinical trials is that travel. And this fully virtual option is going to open the door for so many people who want to be able to participate and haven't been able to. So they're going to share all the ins and outs of how you can do that if that's the option that works best for you and your family. And then share the additional sites that are available and, just kind of give us an update on where they are at with the trial. I'm really, really excited about the virtual option for people.
That is huge. That's a game changer. So I can't wait for them to come on and talk to families about it. That'll be great for families.
Yes.
Yeah.
And for those of you who do not know, I know we talk about the clinical trials all the time, and it becomes kind of just our ingrained vernacular. But for those of you guys who don't know, Harmony's Tempo trial is specifically looking at the use of pitolisant for excessive daytime sleepiness.
Right.
So this is the trial that is not looking at hyperphagia.
Yes, good point. And they do already have several trial sites open. They've been doing this trial for a while. So we will have a link to where those trial sites are and a little extra overview about the Tempo trial, and also a link to their Tempo website so you can get even more details. But we really highly encourage everybody to sign up to attend that, even if you're not available necessarily to attend at that time. We encourage you to sign up so you can get the link to view it as soon as possible. But, come in person too so you can ask questions. I think that's a big a big positive to having these live virtual webinars with the actual pharma rep so people can ask questions. So,
yes. And huge shout out to Harmony for being willing to come back and do another one. So they did do a webinar with us before they had this virtual option to participate. And I think one of the things that the community really does, like you mentioned, benefit from is being able to ask their questions directly. And so grateful to Harmony for being willing to come back and really make themselves available to the community again and share this information and answer the questions.
Yes. So well said and so true. And a separate clinical trial that's happening has now 10 active trial sites open, which is amazing. So that's Aardvark Therapeutics. It's their HERO Phase 3 clinical trial, and it is now enrolling. So HERO, again, Phase 3 trial investigating ARD-101, which is an innovative orally administered treatment designed to help reduce hyperphagia, or excessive hunger, and food-seeking behaviors in individuals with Prader-Willi syndrome. This randomized, double-blind, placebo-controlled trial is an important step toward identifying a potential new treatment option for the PWS community. And now trial sites across the U.S. are actively enrolling participants, and that is 100% an accurate representation of that. There, I see on our little map stars in California all the way over to Boston. So, yeah, lots of trial sites open all over the United States at this point. And I know that there will be more available in the future as well. But at this point, we encourage you to go and look at which trial sites are all open. We'll have a blog link in our show notes. And then we'll also have the link to the HERO Studies website so you can learn more about that.
Now, under PWSA USA announcement, we have our resource spotlight. On our website, we offer various informational PDFs that can help families understand financial opportunities. And one in particular is qualifying for Social Security disability with Prader-Willi syndrome. And according to this fact sheet, if you have a child with PWS, he or she may be eligible for financial help. The Social Security Administration offers monthly financial aid for people of all ages with severe disabilities. Many people with PWS are eligible for assistance. To learn more about technical approval for disability benefits and medical qualifications for people with PWS, and find multiple links to the valuable resources, download the document that's going to be in the show notes. It's the Qualifying for Social Security Disability with Prader-Willi Syndrome resource.
Well, thank you, Stacey, so much for coming on today and lending your insight into some of these items, because you are able to speak better to a lot than me and Annie are. So
I don't know about better, but thanks for letting me be here. I love doing this with you. It's fun.
Of course. Thank you for being here. Do you, before we get out of here, have a little mission moment or anything that has resonated with you in the last, week, month?
I think for me, I keep going back to the advocacy work and really how the community came together to get us to the point now where we really are, just a vote away from having PRMRP funding. And that is amazing.
Well said. And yeah, it's awesome to see and be here to witness it.
What about you? Do you have one this week?
I think I'll just say really quick that we are, a month and a half, a little over a month and a half away from this gala, and to just see the collaboration among our team get prepped for this event. It's always so amazing to me how we're all so willing to come together and step up and do, whatever is needed to help the other. I just feel like that's resonated with me quite a bit, especially leading up to conference and, now this. Every major, milestone or event or anything we put on, this team is just so helpful and supportive. And so I think just a general shout out to the team. Everyone is so great. Yes.
I love that. Love it. Love it. We have such an incredible team. And, the community knows so many of the public faces, but the behind the scenes as well, our business office and data, hygiene and, our database coordinator. There's people behind the scenes that the community may not know, but really together, this team is incredible. And Same thing. I feel really, really fortunate to be here at this time with the same group of people. Like, it's special.
Thank you for listening to this episode of PWS United. If you want to learn more about Prader-Willi syndrome and how PWSA USA is making strides in advocacy, family support, and research, visit www.pwsausa.org. And while you're there, we encourage you to sign up for our Pulse email newsletter to stay informed about the latest news, resources, and events. Don't forget to subscribe to the PWS United podcast so you never miss an episode. Our team is always available to support families and their loved ones living with PWS 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. You can call us at 941-312-0400 or email info@pwsausa.org. Catch a new episode next Tuesday, and until then, have a great week.